Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I declare this briefing session open at 6:30 p.m. The proceedings of the briefing session are electronically recorded in accordance with Council's recording and live streaming of Council meetings Council policy, except for matters of a confidential nature. The guide in determining those matters of a confidential nature shall be in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995. Please note, briefing sessions are audio recorded and audio live streamed only in accordance with Council's policy. Recordings will also be made available on the City's website following the meeting. The official record of the meeting will be the written minutes kept in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995 and any relevant regulations. Members of the public gallery are reminded it is a requirement under the Meeting Procedures Local Law 2013 to act in a courteous and respectful manner when in the Council chamber. You are asked to show respect to anyone who is exercising their right to ask questions of Council and/or to deliver public statements. I ask that respect extend to such people whenever they are on City premises while waiting for or having taken their opportunity to ask questions or to deliver a public statement. Under the local law, a person must not create a disturbance by interrupting or interfering with the orderly conduct of proceedings. This includes expressing of approval or dissent by conversing or by any other means. Using personal electronic recording devices to record anyone or the meeting is also prohibited under the City's local law. I would also like to remind members of the public to show proper respect to the City's elected members and staff during proceedings. The next item 3 is declarations of interest. Do any councillors or staff have any declarations on any item on tonight's agenda? Councillor Chester.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Acting Deputy Mayor, sorry. Yes, if you just bear with me a moment. 12.1, 12.7, and that's it, thank you.
So have you completed declaration forms, Councillor Chester? And if not, can you just state what your declarations are?
I'm sorry, I misheard you.
So we're in declarations of interest, so it's customary for elected members, if they have a declaration of interest, to make those declarations at this point in time by completing a form to advise whether it's proximity, financial, or otherwise. Do you have those details, Councillor Chester?
No, I'm withdrawing the request, thank you. I misunderstood what you were requesting, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chester. A briefing session, we don't do that. I'm going to conclude that we have no declarations of interest from anybody in attendance, elected members or staff, and we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is deputations. I can advise there were no deputation requests received by the City. So with the next item of business is public question time. I note that we do not have members of the public in the gallery, and we also do not have anybody registered. I'll just check with governance whether I'm required to read out the next section. No. In that case, I won't read out the guidelines for members of the public as they relate to public question time, and in the absence of any members of the public, I will declare public question time closed. We move to public statement time. I'll glance across to governance just to get confirmation that I don't need to read that out either, as we have no members of the public in the gallery, so I hereby declare public statement time closed. We now move on to item 7, apologies and leave of absence. We have leave of absence previously approved from Councillor Kingston, Councillor Raftis and Mayor Albert Jacob for this evening. And we also have an apology from Councillor May for this evening's briefing session. All the apologies and all the leaves of absence currently in the system are on the screen before us. Are there any elected members requesting leave of absence?
Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Jones.
A request for leave from the 15th of the 9th to the 21st of the 10th inclusive, please.
Just make sure that governance has captured that. Any other elected members? Yes, Councillor Pizzey.
Could I please have leave from the 16th of October to the 19th, please, inclusive?
Thank you, Councillor Pizzey. Any other elected members with leaves of absence? If not, the next item is item 8, confirmation of minutes. This item will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting to be held on Tuesday, 23rd of September 2025. as will item 9, announcements by the presiding member without discussion. This item will also be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting to be held on Tuesday, 23rd of September 2025. Next item 10 is identification of matters for which the meeting may be closed to the public. The following item may be dealt with behind closed doors if there are any questions on the confidential item. This is item 12.3, being the confidential item, status of legal actions report. I will ask if any elected members are planning to ask questions regarding this confidential item, regarding the attachment in this item. I'll take that as a no, in which case we don't need to close the doors, but if anybody does choose to ask questions on the attachment, we will have to defer that item to the end and go confidential. Next item on the agenda is item 11, petitions. The City has received 2 new petitions. The first petition is in relation to installing barbecue facilities, shelter and water access at Sandalford Park in Belden. We've also received a petition that instructs the CEO to provide the full plans and usage details for Chichester Park, Woodvale, including the upgrades to the play space and extended sport facilities to the residents who live adjacent to the park and the community of Woodvale. So those are the petitions that have been received. In the absence of any questions on those petitions, we'll move on to the reports section of the agenda. First item on the agenda, 12.1, Development and Subdivision Applications, July 2025. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor Chester.
Yes, thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. I'm looking at page 2 of the attachments and the item 3rd from the bottom, and it involves Edith Cowan University. I'm surprised that with an item that runs to 18 million, that I don't know what the development was, and I would like some clarity on that if that's possible. But I'm surprised that an item of that magnitude, 18 million, wasn't at least run past the council at some stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chester. I was going to ask that question myself, being in the North Ward, but I'll proceed with your question and just constrain comments purely related to your question. Could the Director provide any further details on that proposed development, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor, through you. The development application was for a number of different additions and extensions to 2 buildings on the campus. Both buildings are centrally located, so any works undertaken won't be visible from surrounding streets or the public realm. Primarily, it's to consolidate the School of Education's operations within these 2 buildings at Joondalup. Whilst the dollar value is at $18 million, the applicant has the choice at that value as to whether or not they would prefer to have the Development Assessment Panel undertake the decision, or if they would like the City of Joondalup as a local government to undertake the decision. In this instance, they elected for the local government to undertake the decision, and based on our register of delegations, it was within the City Office's delegation to make the decision.
Anything further, Councillor Chester?
No, thank you.
In which case, I'll ask an additional question on the same subject to Director Lee. Given that this proposed development is $18 million and has already been approved by the City, would it be possible to provide some further details in the pack for the benefit of elected members?
Thank you, through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Yes, happy to provide a bit more of a summary and see if we can include some plans so the elected members can see where the development's proposed on site as well.
Thank you. Any further questions on this item? Councillor Pizzey.
Yes, thank you. I'm just looking at 40 residential lots on 95 Woodvale Drive, and it was not supported. Could I have some more information on that and why it wasn't supported?
Could you just direct us to which page you're referring to?
Page 6 on the attachment.
Page
6.
Thank you. Director Lee.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor, through you. This subdivision proposal is one that elected members may be familiar with, because I think there were questions asked previously when it did appear on an earlier report, but it relates to a 40-lot subdivision on Woodvale Drive that was also the subject of a scheme amendment not too long ago. When the city previously provided its referral response on the subdivision, it was recommended that it not be approved, primarily because at that stage the scheme amendment hadn't been approved, and so there wasn't really the zoning in place to accommodate the residential density that they were seeking. There were some other issues with it, but at the time the Department of Planning didn't determine the application because they were waiting for the scheme amendment to be determined. That has now occurred, and the scheme amendment's been approved, and so the appropriate zoning's been put in place. The department came back to the city and asked for us to provide a further response in relation to the subdivision. Some additional information was provided with the application, but the city still felt there were outstanding queries related to tree retention, the wetland buffer, as well as the submission of an urban water management plan. And so in the absence of that information, which is part of the conditions for the scheme amendment, we still felt it was appropriate to recommend that subdivision isn't supported, certainly until we're able to be provided with that information and are comfortable with the detail in there.
Councillor Pizzey.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. If I may then, Director Lee, I'll just ask a question myself as to whether some additional information can be provided to elected members in the pack regarding that item.
Thank you. Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Yes, happy to provide that further information on that particular subdivision proposal as well.
Thank you. Elected members, any further questions on this item? If not, we'll move to item 12.2, execution of documents. Any questions on this item? If not, we'll move to the confidential item 12.3, and a reminder to elected members that not to ask any questions regarding the confidential attachments, but are there any questions otherwise on this item? Councillor Chester.
Yes, thank you. I noticed that a company called Silkchime Proprietary Limited is mentioned in our confidential...
Sorry, yes, Councillor Chester, do you have a question?
Well, yes, I was coming to that. That particular company is mentioned several times in the document.
Sorry, Councillor Chester, what we will do, to discuss this with governance, we'll move this to a confidential at the end of the agenda, and we'll discuss it then. We don't want to enter into any confidential discussions. Therefore, we'll move on to item 12.4, status of council decisions. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Just the first one there is the notice of motion put forward by Councillor May. Council resolution is CJ 137-05-24 in relation to the electric vehicle stations and the charging stations. I was just wondering if we could get any updates as to the progress, possible impacts that have been realised at this stage to the electric charging stations.
Mr Atkins, CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, we'll take that question on notice and provide an update in the packs.
Councillor O'Neill, anything further?
Yes, thank you. Further to that, the workers' compensation insurance, Council Resolution CJ 272-10/24. Just reading in here from the last update, that being that the city officers were unable to progress the request in a timely manner. I was just wondering if there's any further updates that could be reported.
Thank you. Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, I can report that a consultant has been appointed in the last 2 weeks to review the city's insurance portfolio. We intend bringing it back to council in November.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you. Further to that, I requested a report in relation to the city's spot-on rewards protocols, being that these have appeared again. I'm just wondering if there's a timeline on the presentation that will be presented to council.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
In relation to the Audit and Risk Committee minutes, requested a report in relation to the spot-on rewards protocols. I was just wondering when that would be presented.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, what I caught was that it's the on-the-spot rewards protocol, and I believe that will be presented to the next Audit and Risk Committee, but I'll take the question on notice and provide the information in the packs.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you. Just one further, if I may. The alternate recommendation for Council Resolution CJ 053-03/25. Just wondering if there's any updates available. And if there
Could I ask you
is-
to read the title of that report?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's the minutes. It was in the minutes of the general electors meeting of the general electors on 23rd of January 2025. It was
the subject?
It's in relation to motion 1 carried at the event with the management of the fox populations. I'm just wondering if there's any updates since what's been noted on here, if they could be provided to council and any of the relevant friends groups as well.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, again, I'll take that question on notice. I'll correspond with the officers in the morning and provide information in the packs.
Any other elected members with questions on this item? If not, we'll move to item 12.5, being minutes of regional council meetings. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor Hutton.
Thank you. Just got some questions in regards to the minutes of the Mindarie Regional Council meeting. I know on the minutes of the meeting, there is a few instances where there were votes that took place on, I guess, contentious items where it seems like the City of Joondalup and City of Wanneroo representatives, along with the City of Perth representative, took an alternate position to the MRC. I'm just wondering if there could be some clarity around what those issues were and what the City's position is on those topics.
Director Carson.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, if I may ask Councillor Hutton just refer to a page number and I can find a specific
page 56 is the start of it. There are some other ones further on, but it all flows from page 56.
Director Carson.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. So the discussion there was regarding the critical infrastructure plan. There's a number of critical infrastructure items that was proposed by the MRC. The position of the City of Joondalup on some of those critical infrastructure, those infrastructure that's proposed potentially is long-term infrastructure and not required for the closure of the landfill, and as such the City's position and the members of the City on the MRC's position was not to support those. But I will take that on notice and provide the details of that in the pack to elected members.
Councillor Hutton, anything further?
Yeah, thank you. Just further on from that, on page 57, there was a proposed amendment moved by Councillor Galbert and seconded by Councillor Wright to do with the waste transfer station and circular economy centre. Just wondering if the City has any comments on that.
Director Carson.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, in terms of the waste transfer station, sorry, and I'm just trying to find that. So the long-term financial plan had a budget amount indicatively included for a waste transfer station. That transfer station is proposed by the MRC for future drop-off facility to transfer then waste to an alternative site. Again, the City's position on that is long-term infrastructure at that location and does not support that position. That's supported by the City of Wanneroo, is looking at a similar facility in a nearby precinct where we believe is a more appropriate location for a long-term waste infrastructure such as a transfer station.
Councillor Hutton, anything further?
Yeah, thank you. Just move along from that. Obviously, there's points been raised there about the timeline. Is the city aware what the current timeline for closure is for Tamala Park through the MRC, and whether or not that timeline has changed at all over the past 12 months?
Dritz Carson.
Free, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I'll take the question on notice. However, can state that the fact that we still have all the member councils tipping waste at Tamala Park obviously reduces the time frame if compared to a time frame that was originally proposed to have a waste to energy contract in place by the 1st of July. Obviously, that hasn't happened. There's a proposal to have a further option for that waste to energy contract in place, which we will bring back to this council following the election. It's most probably going to be in Q3 of this financial year for council to consider that contract that the MRC is proposing to enter into. And obviously, the delays in any of those does impact on the term of the landfill. But I will provide that in the pack, more information without waste to energy and with waste to energy, what those likely timeframes are at the current moment.
Thank you, Dritz Carson. Councillor Hutton, anything further?
Yeah, just following on from that, there's obviously multiple references in the minutes to the odour issue that exists. Obviously, MRC was the recipient of an environmental notice from the Department of Water and Environmental Regulation. As part of that notice, there was 11 items that MRC had to enact. Do we have a status update on how MRC is progressing with those items?
Dritz Carson.
I don't have that update, but I can seek an update. And that's most probably an update we need to get from the MRC, but I'll seek an update from them and provide that to elected members.
Yeah,
Councillor Hutton,
yeah,
any further questions?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just moving on from that, from the reference I got, the 11 items had been completed. That was through the Odour Management Stakeholder Group. I'm just wondering if the city's aware if MRC has achieved a noticeable improvement in odours at the site, given they've now implemented the 11 management order items, but obviously happy for that to be taken on notice.
Dritz Carson.
I think the feedback from the MRC in general is that they have seen an improvement, but again, take it on notice and provide the MRC position in the back.
Anything further? Any further questions, Councillor Hutton?
Yeah, I just want to clarify the City of Joondalup's position on this matter. Obviously, the city previously called on MRC to investigate all options to expedite the closure of Tamala Park. Is the city's position still that all options should be explored to expedite the closure of Tamala Park?
Dritz Carson.
Through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, Council's position has not changed regarding Tamala Park, and obviously we're progressing that with the MRC.
Any further questions, Councillor Hutton?
Yeah, just final point. It's to do with an alternate motion. I will flag it here. It might be required to be moved as a notice of motion later on the agenda, but I'll just put it on the agenda now. That I would like as part of this, obviously noting the minutes, that's fine. But I would also like the city to, or the council to reaffirm the city's position that all options should be explored to expedite the closure of Tamala Park. And I would also, in addition to that, like for advocacy to begin on this topic, and maybe for a report to be prepared on the options for advocacy on this issue, obviously looking at not just advocating to MRC, but potentially also advocating to the state government.
So, do you have a question, Councillor Hutton?
It's not a question, it's a request for an alternate.
Yeah, well, okay, you refer to notice of motion, we have that coming up in the agenda later, so...
No, I'm happy to, I'm requesting that an alternate be drafted for this agenda item.
Okay. No further questions?
No, that's all.
Any elected members with questions on this item? If not, we'll move to item 12.6, status of petitions. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Just in relation to the 101 signature petition that was received 23rd of July 2024, just seeking if there...
Sorry, can you state what the petition is?
The petition was the City of Joondalup should, in relation to request the city to investigate main roads, Western Australia, location selection for the 5-metre noise wall along Twickenham Drive in Kingsley.
Thank you. Your question?
The question is that when is there any further updates to note since the last update, which was received as of August 2024?
Dritz Carson. Director Lee.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, through you. The update of August 2025 was the city had progressed its report into responding to the petition request, but at that stage the lead petitioner just asked the city to hold back because they had some additional information they wanted to supply. There has been some additional information supplied, and I do actually have a meeting on the matter next week with one of the relevant people involved, and I'm hoping that that will finalise the additional information so we can complete our reporting and present it to council, but it is dependent on the conversation we have next week.
Councillor O'Neill.
Sorry, so just seeking further on that, would that to be assumed that this report would be presented to council within this year?
Director Lee.
Thank you, through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. That's certainly my hope. It is dependent somewhat on the information or the timing of the information that the lead petitioner has committed to provide. My sense is that that will be available in time for us to present a report this year to council. It's certainly my intent.
Councillor O'Neill. Any other elected members with questions on this item? Councillor Pizzey.
Just a quick one on page 8, the 30 signature from Merrifield Place. I'm just wondering if there has been any update of continuing with that project or if it's still on hold. Thank you.
Director Carson.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, thank you for the question. That was on hold. As at August, we are looking at bringing that back to review the improvement plan and look at options around that based on the petition.
Councillor Pizzey.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any other elected members with questions on this item? If not, we'll move on to item 12.7, list of payments made during the month of July 2025. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor Chester.
Yes, thank you. The first question I have is on page 78, and it relates to the Australian Performing Right Association for a licence to the tune of $32,000. I'm just curious to know what the city was involved in with that. Thank you.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. I will take the question on notice, but I believe that is the licence we need to pay for to play music at live events and at Craigie Leisure Centre. But I'll take the question on notice and provide the details in the pack.
Anything further, Councillor Chester?
Yes. Further down that page, page 78, Australian Air Conditioning Services, replacement of an exhaust fan to the tune of $34,000. And I'm just wondering what sort of exhaust fan would cost that much, but if I could be enlightened, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Director Carson.
Through Mr Deputy Mayor, is that on page 78? Sorry, I'm just
checking the page number, Councillor Chester.
Yes, the page number is 78, and the item number is EF 131165.
Director Carson.
I'll say no, that is at Craigie Leisure Centre, so we'll provide the details of that in the back.
Anything further, Councillor Chester?
Yes. Page 82. We're looking at almost right down to the bottom of the page. CHG Meridian Australian Proprietary Limited, equipment rental from the 1st of the 7th this year to the 3rd of the 9th this year to the tune of $37,000 for 2 months hire. And I'm just wondering what sort of equipment that might have been. Thank you.
Mr Acting CEO.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. We'll take the question on notice and provide information in the packs.
Anything further, Councillor Chester? Microphone, please.
On the following page, City of Wanneroo, offshore sand source investigation, $55,000.
Director Lee? No, Director Carson.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, so as part of the Coastal Alliance, the City of Joondalup, Wanneroo and Stirling is working together on identifying sand sources That project is led by the City of Wanneroo, and that's the city's contribution towards that.
Councillor Chester, any further questions?
Yes, I take it that was involving consultants in that case, was it?
Councillor Carson.
Through Mr Deputy Mayor, yes, that's mostly consultants, yeah.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Going back to page 78, EF 131171, looking at Oscorp IT, we have two items on here, one for $620.98, elected member printed toners. If we could get some clarity on that. And then directly below it, Samsung Galaxy A25 for $5,458.20.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor. With regards to the first part of the payment, there are allowances in place for elected members for some stationery. That will be part of that. We'll provide details in the pack. The Samsung Galaxy A25 phone, I know the retail price of that's approximately $500, so I would assume that's for more than one phone. But I'll take the question on notice and provide how many that is in the packs.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you. While it is actually being mentioned, there was a number of elected members' claims this month. I was just wondering if in the pack we could include a detailed list of those claims. I'm not talking about the ITC claims and things like that, the separate claims for expenses, just for council perusal.
So was that a question, Councillor O'Neill?
No, I'm just requesting that in the pack, please, for the elected members' expenses that were
I will
claimed
just
during
pause
this
you
month.
there and just ask Mr Acting CEO to comment on that. Thank you.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, yes, we can provide a summary of the payments made that's listed here.
Any further questions, Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you. Yes, down to page 81, Bunnings Group Limited, on the 31st of the 7th, EF 131653. There's an item here, $309.69 for tools for James Lazar. I'm just wanting some clarity about that.
Mr Acting CEO.
Yes, through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, the City does provide equipment for some of our trade staff. I'll take the question on notice though and provide details of what that is in the packs.
Councillor O'Neill, anything
Thank
further?
you. Yes, sorry, I won't go through those ones. I'll wait for that bit in the pack. Sorry, Mr Deputy Mayor.
Could I check with you approximately how many more items you have, Councillor O'Neill?
Just two more items, I think. The next one is page 107, EF 131347, Milton Green Proprietary Limited, trading as Beyond Skateboards. There's $1,800 worth of skateboards for Percy Doyle's skate. Could we get some clarity about that, please?
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, I will have to take that question on notice. I would suggest they are prizes or gifts as a part of the launch of the facility, but I'll take the question on notice and provide the information in the packs.
And your final question, Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Final question is on page 121, EF 131299. The trustee for Hato Trust, SoCo Studios, is a charge for $27,610 for a lifestyle photo shoot and a videographer. Could we get some clarity about that, please, and why that costs that price?
Mr Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, again, I'll take the question on notice and provide details of what the promotion campaign was and further information in the packs.
Any other elected members with questions on this item? If not, we'll move to item 12.8, Financial Activity Statement for July 2025. Elected members, any questions on this item? If not, we'll move on to item 12.9, Card Transactions for the month of July 2025. Elected members, any questions on this item? Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Page 146, 30th of the 6th, 2025, 3 transactions for Officeworks for purchase of on-the-spot rewards gift member program. If we can get some clarity as to what the gifts were received for.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through Mr Deputy Mayor, looking at the values associated there, my intuition is telling me that is length of service awards, on-the-spot type awards, but I'll take the question on notice and provide the details in the packs.
Anything further, Councillor O'Neill?
Yes, Mr Deputy Mayor. Page 147, 22nd of the 7th, $105.50 for a Coles $100 gift voucher, and below that an Officeworks $300 gift voucher for service recognition.
Mr Acting CEO.
Through Mr Deputy Mayor, the service recognition would be for a substantial length of service. My estimation off the top of my head is 20 plus years, but I'll take the question on notice and provide the information in the pack, and the same with the payment above.
Any further questions, Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you. Yes, Mr Deputy Mayor, just one further one, if I may. 23rd of the 7th, 2025. It's a bit confusing. It's $1,236 Facebook, 25 years, $300, 15 years, $250 service recognition gift cards. I'm not sure if that's some sort of typo error, or could you explain that a little bit further off that line?
Mr Acting CEO.
Through Mr Deputy Mayor, it does appear to be an error, a typographical error. I will check that with the staff in the morning and provide details in the packs.
Thank you. Any further elected members with questions on this item? If not, we'll revert to the confidential item 12.3. And with that in mind, I would ask that governance ensures that we have the appropriate team people in the room should be back in the room. Okay, we'll continue with item 13, reports of committees. That concludes the items listed on the reports agenda. Mr. Acting CEO, are any further reports from committees?
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. At this stage, I can advise that only the following Special Chief Executive Officer Recruitment and Performance Review Committee report will be listed in the Council addendum agenda for the meeting to be held on Tuesday, the 23rd of September 2025, being a confidential report on the appointment of an independent human resources consultant to support recruitment of the Chief Executive Officer process.
Thank you, Mr. Acting CEO. We'll now move on to item 14, reports of the Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Acting CEO, are there any reports from the Chief Executive Officer?
At this stage, no.
Thank you. The next item is 15, urgent business. This item will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting to be held on Tuesday, 23rd of September 2025. Now move on to item 16, motions of which previous notice has been given. Are there any elected members who wish to flag their intent to raise a notice of motion for the next council meeting? Councillor Hutton.
Yeah, just in case it wasn't in order to request the previous alternate motion, I will flag that the notice of motion would be to reaffirm the city's position that Tamala Park should close as soon as possible, and to request the CEO prepare a report on advocacy options. That's one motion. And then a second notice of motion I want to provide is requesting a report into the current categories used for parking in the CBD, particular focus on unintended consequences that may be affecting local businesses.
Mr. Acting CEO.
Through you, Mr Deputy Mayor, I would encourage that any request of that kind be presented as soon as possible for the September report. I would consider both of those items could have implications for the caretaker provisions, so the sooner we can receive that request in writing to assess that, the better.
Thank you. I encourage Councillor Hutton to engage with the administration as soon as possible regarding those potential notices of motion. Any other elected members wishing to raise a notice of motion at the next council meeting? If not, we'll move to item 17, announcement of notices of motion for the next meeting. This item will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting to be held on Tuesday, 23rd of September 2025. That concludes tonight's briefing session. I hereby close the meeting at 7:17 p.m. Thank you to all in attendance. Good evening.